Correctional Services remembers fallen officers. Supreme Court dismisses PM's application to intervene. And a story of pure determination and commitment.
This is National MTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Monday's news. The PNG Correctional Services this morning held their Remembrance Day dawn service to remember the lives of the colleagues who have died in the line of duty. The dawn service saw all Correctional Service officers and families in attendance to show their respects to the fallen officers. CS Commissioner Stephen Pokanis in his address challenged CS officers to be committed in their service to the country.
As early as 5 a.m. this morning, Correctional Service officers and families gathered at the Correctional Service Training College to commemorate the 19th Correctional Service Remembrance Day. The dawn service is to remember the lives of fallen officers who died in the line of duty in Bougainville. CS Minister Windaki, CS Commissioner Stephen Pokanis and other senior members of the Correctional Service and other stakeholders participated in the laying of wreaths.
In this profession, we have also lost officers back to the establishment of this department. Indeed, we have lost a good number of officers.
In 1989, over 100 CS officers were deployed to Bougainville on various missions. Their missions were to protect CS officers and families in Bougainville, coordinate and monitor movements to care centers, protect vital government services and to serve as bodyguards. However, during an intense attack on the Correctional Service facility in 1990, many officers lost their lives. And today marks the 19th year since the first Remembrance Day was held to remember these officers.
We get a call from our government. We always respond to that call because it is our job. We are correctional officers. We swore an oath to serve the great God, our Queen, our government, our people.
Whilst remembering the lives of the fallen officers, CS officers were urged to be committed and uphold the oath that they swore. They were also challenged not to hold grudges against senior officers or colleagues, as there are risks in this profession.
I need to complain. If I need to talk against my senior officer, if I need to grumble against my colleague, I shall always remember the oath I signed and committed myself to serve the government of the people of this great land, beautiful country of Papua New Guinea, with less complaint.
Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
The Supreme Court has refused an application by Prime Minister James Marape to become an intervener in a matter involving the legality of the 2021 budget passed on 16 December 2020. Justice David Cannings, in his ruling this afternoon, said the question to be answered in this proceeding is whether the passing of the budget was unconstitutional and whether the adjournment of Parliament April 2021 was consistent with the Constitution. After considering Prime Minister Marape's submissions, the Supreme Court refused the application. Parties involved in these proceedings include Belden Nama as the applicant, Speaker Job Pomat and the Attorney General as first, second and third interveners. This matter returns to court on the 10th of February for a full court hearing. The annual Public Servants Dedication Service was held today at the Sir John Guy's Indoor Complex. Public servants, departmental heads, government agencies and ministers, including the Prime Minister, attended the program. During the service, Prime Minister James Marape urged public servants to be honest in their line of duty.
A good number of public servants attended the program today. Minister for Public Service Joe Sungi during the dedication service urges public servants to be committed and dedicated to their work. He appealed to departmental heads to read and understand the General Order and the Public Service Management Act.
If you are a departmental head that does not know the General Orders and the Public Service Management Act, then spend time to go back and see the GO. Because then if you know it, then officers down the line will know it. Stop running around with us ministers, departmental heads. Stop running around with governors, provincial administrators. Spend time with your officers so that they know the Public Service Management Act. So they know the code of conduct. You are there to appraise them on a 6-monthly basis so that when they go wrong, the form itself, the self-performance appraisal, is able to assist you to be able to assist them, to correct them. If they lack skills, you recommend training for them. The form itself provides for them.
Prime Minister James Marape highlighted several developments in 2020 and thanked all public servants for their contributions. He challenged the public servants body to work with integrity.
But you are old. You knew what you did last year. I knew what I did last year. We know what we can collectively do this year for the betterment of our country. Our country's future is dependent on the inputs we make today. There must not be any room for complacency or corruption amongst us. Two of the cancers that has held back our country, corruption and complacency. And I close on this note. Re-investigate yourselves. There must be no room for complacency or no room for corruption amongst you. I will work to ensure ICAC is fully established to help eradicate complacency and corruption in our public service.
Marape concluded his speech by saying thank you for a successful 2020 and is looking forward for a better 2021.
And I ask you, your impact to your country will leave behind a better country, worse country for our children. It is you and me who will make the most for our country, not someone else. Don't think that someone else is there to fix our country. I am here to fix our country. You are here to fix our country. Let's collectively re-look at ourselves and how we've come through in 2020. God's hand was over us in 2020, protecting us from COVID-19, protecting us from economic adversities, protecting us from want. In fact, in 2020, in one of the hardest years of our nation's history,
the dedication service was informative and insightful for the public servants and for the nation as a whole. Esther Tylam, National MTV News.
Sheer determination and commitment is the key to success. A mother of 7 in East Sepik Province has proven that. Julie Joachim started off selling fish at the market and now owns a PMV bus. Although often receiving public humiliation because of the smell of fish, she did not let that dampen her spirit to achieve greater things.
Julie Joachim was too emotional getting her car keys from National Development Bank. She couldn't contain her tears when the Prime Minister congratulated her and asked her how she started off. Julie is from Wasera and sells fish in Wewak town.
Wasera, Mr. Tamdola Wewak, Mr. Wewak's compound. So 2004, we been starting market fish. So we been starting on the 70 kana. Come. Then I blow 20.
This mother of 7 knew she had to work hard and smart for her family, saving the extra money she made. With the help of the National Development Bank, she was able to secure a loan and purchased a 15-seater bus.
So me bugim me lugi mo sem. Me ka 35%, so me asking. And be now. So only look helping me. And now me kisem bus.
She named her PMV bus Smellfish because that's what everyone tells her.
So time is a sit market, you go and go inside law. Store, time you open in below na. Beg blow me. Or workman Mary Law. Store also talks. Smell one here. Let me say talk I'm sorry. Me sit at market and fish me come. Osana me to below now what something me over the skin. Clothes below me and smell. So also you look in the front the bus below me. So this comment me must put him smell fish.
Prime Minister James Marape was moved by her determination, challenging everyone to save instead of spending all the money from their hard work.
And today, me how much time me stand up me looking. Simple mama say mama blomi or susa blomi or auntie blomi or bush places of Tari. Come and to them salim peace. Salim kiss him money, go, boom him, lick, save him, go on a bank partner with them to blah and makes him 15 seat a bus. Suppose him can make him, you too can make him, you are him talk stuff.
Julie was among two other men who successfully acquired a loan with NDB's People's Microbank. The two bought brand new 25-seater buses. All three were presented with their car keys on Thursday by NDB just before the opening of the NDB branch in MAPRIK town. The Prime Minister opened the bank and the complex, encouraging village farmers and SME owners to utilize the bank. Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. Among stories after the break, farmers in MAPRIK want training on cocoa production, and Divine Word missionaries celebrate 125 years. Details after the break. Welcome back. Villagers who own 1 to 2 hectares of cocoa plots want training on how best to nurture the plants and produce quality cocoa. At this stage, they are planting, nurturing and harvesting without any proper knowledge. This was the concern shared by farmers in Wora of MAPRIK district in East Sepik province.
These are villagers from Waura in MAPRIK district of East Sepik province. They are intently listening to cocoa board officers informing them of the recently announced price support program for cocoa. Waura is part of the MAPRIK district's economic zone concept. There are a total of 25 economic zones. This shed is set up by the district for cocoa seedlings nursery and for purchasing cocoa, especially the wet beans. Similar sheds have been set up in each of the zones. The aim of this concept is to cut down on farmer transport costs, allowing them to sell their cocoa beans right at their doorstep. It is also intended to hold trainings for villagers. Hearing word that officers from the cocoa board were visiting, a small group of villagers turned up with the little they harvested. The new government support will allow them to benefit more for their hard work. The price support program is also aimed at encouraging more people to venture into cocoa farming. Most people here at Waura had abandoned cocoa farming when the cocoa pod borer infested most of the beans. While the farmers welcome the government's initiative to subsidize the selling price, the main concern, though, is educating themselves. They believe if armed with the right knowledge, they will produce more and the best cocoa.
Price. So before you know got slagan so mancha city mipla come buy 120 110
no traselo se kirat nunggu dor big plol mani kam instead lo kebi more ting no linke mon ron number lo in community line talk say black wash now the government must look save or officers belong cocoa board must look save Pani sebelah means when sebelah marah sini kami help me pula. Emla minta farmer try best pula me pula all the way try mika sebelah dah isa good pula sebelah dah isa nunggu.
So me pula like lo bom pula school lo au bom pula starting cocoa na me pula grow him so whenever me pula ba look out in cocoa na mista.
Senior project coordinator with Cocoa Board, Charles Cowell, said the farmers' concerns are genuine. He said Cocoa Board extension officers have been selected and soon will be sent to all the cocoa producing districts in the country to assist farmers with training. This includes MAPRIK district.
So the emphasis now is on training in terms of getting the farmers through the whole cocoa value chain.
Daryl Warimo works with the Cocoa Board as the Sepik regional manager. He is a proud man knowing that Sepik, both East and West Sepik combined, are leaders in cocoa export.
Production, Yangusha is currently leading in the production, followed by Nuku district and MAPRIK.
But while Sepik boasts about this fact, there are still great challenges.
The challenge that most farmers are facing is aging trees. That's one of the main problems, CPB. And proper road network. With good road network, farmer can access the market. So now what we are focused on is rehabilitation of existing trees to the process of budding. We're teaching the farmers to propagate the cocoa like cloning.
The CIPIC is seeing progress with support to cocoa farmers, but the infrastructure challenges remain one of the impediments to increasing cocoa production. While the Commodity Board step up to provide extension officers, it is evident that government intervention is still needed in all parts of the CIPIC to address key challenges such as infrastructure development to allow access for these smallholder farmers. Shamin Poreambeb, National MTV News.
A small assistance can go a long way. That has been the amplified message from the National Development Bank when presenting seedlings and fertilizers to a group of farmers in Port Moresby.
The assistance from the National Development Bank comes at a time when these farmers need the most support to generate more income for school fee, amongst other needs. Situated along the Somare Crescent, just before the NDB office, these farmers have cultivated this state land to grow fresh produce.
First time bro plata mi pla walking garden lo hiana mi plese tokol sem mi plesta plus trulo ai blo NDB da so why now no sa look savelo mi plese tokol sem now you look thank you.
This morning, the group of farmers, mainly from Eastern Islands Province, received 36 fertilizer bags and 144 packets of cabbage seedlings as assistance from the National Development Bank.
At least, I guess, from a national development perspective, that I've recognised it, and I want to see you grow as successful business people, and I'm hoping that we can join you on that journey. So NDB wants to try and insist, and obviously as part of the Marape government initiative, wants to move people like you, hard-working Papua New Guineans, from the informal to formal sector by providing potential funding to grow your businesses. This here is kind of like the first step. So the first step is to ideally establish savings accounts with our Rural Development Bank, Savings and Loans team here, or with the People Microbank as well.
This now forms a new partnership where these farmers are encouraged to open up bank accounts, practice a savings culture, and have access to other financial services like loans.
Now, thank you, Jose Mibla, Luki Mibla. Now, Yubla Luki, how to upload Mibla. When there's something Mibla, make him in front, play Yubla Luki. Now, Yubla Luki, Mosem. And my so right live, Yubla, now Yubla, sing out the Mibla come. Now, Mito, thank you, Jose. When I'm talking about you, make him, I'm not benefiting Mibla, so.
Thekla Gunga, National MTV News.
Divine Word Missionaries recently celebrated their 125 years of service through religious education and health in PNG. They celebrated it through a liturgy mass that was held at the St. Paul's Catholic Church in Mount Hagen. Faithfuls from all over the Highlands region came together to celebrate.
The procession was led by the New Guinea Islands youths, followed by SVD priests and brothers in the 7 Highlands provinces. Archbishop Douglas Young gave the homily on the life of former SVD missionaries who gave their whole in evangelism in PNG. 125 years on, the congregation were told to carry on the positive legacy left by missionaries and must continue the mission to serve the communities in religious, health and education.
Some lighting only amamas, some only no amamas, but that's life. So people are too, savvy one and something by come up long next 25 or 50 or 75 years. So sembrato talk and commitment blown you me 1-1. You me all get must look out by it's going to be good. That we only carry on a positive legacy and any mistakes or weaknesses or failures that we leave behind.
The SVD missionaries came to PNG during the pre-evangelism and first contact era on August 13, 1895. While spreading the gospel, they also learnt health and education to protect themselves from sicknesses such as malaria and to educate locals to understand Pidgin and English to be able to read the Bible. Today they have Divine Word University, one of the best universities in the country and Pacific. SVD Society Council member Father Victor Kanarski thanked the lay society of the Catholic Church and its followers for their support.
Always worked with lay people, catechists, carriers during mission patrols, teachers in mission schools and nurses in health centers, church leaders, prayer leaders, community ministers. Yet it took us many years to treat them as our partners in building the kingdom of God.
The late SVD missionary Father William Anthony Ross, upon the invitation of the Lee brothers, went on an expedition in 1934 into the highlands and discovered Mount Hagen and established the Rabiamul parish. Father Ross was the first missionary out of all the churches to enter Western Highlands.
I'm a master on this day. Big talk, thank you, long line SVD. Some of the time people got ting long Lusim Hagen or Lusim Highlands. We must remind you, still it is the first and the only mission that the SVD started from scratch.
Vasinata Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
The Busamang aid post in Morabe's UN Gulf district has run short of antibiotics and other medical supplies. Community health worker Anne Berlin Anjen said with the aid post serving more than 3,000 people, medical supplies are quick to run out and there are delays in getting new supplies. Amidst other challenges, the shortage and delays in receiving new stock are amongst the biggest problems.
This local is going to seek medical treatment at the Busamang aid post. He is one of more than 3,000 people who come here for treatment. On duty is Bayuka Bazinare, who is one of 2 community health workers who serve this community and neighboring villages.
Challenges lo isla patient through lo treatment site amil kumosem treatment lo mi especially marasin ino available lo mi by.
The shortage of antibiotics and other medical supplies is a continuous problem. Anbilin Anjen has been serving as the community health worker at Busamang for 20 years. One of the major challenges she has seen through the years is medicine shortage.
Me looking at big issue supplies. Medical supplies that we mix him salama. I mean ketarim la whole community here because as me talk Pinisia, me say him tu area. That is why supply blomi time mix him salamon come. I'm just last me 2 weeks. So times the supply and finish now.
The Busamang aid post is not the only health facility facing this problem. Over the past 3 years, MTV Lay has covered medicine shortages in aid posts in the province, including urban clinics. For the Busamang aid post, patients are given prescriptions or referred to the Salamwa Health Center or Engau Hospital.
Mila salimol golong Salamwa. Good plamo but nungud mi salimol golong hab na long hab organ salimem golong lay. By wasting time.
Lucy Kopana, National MTV News.
Truecar Industries Limited CEO Alan Preston says 2020 was a tough year for business and full of surprises in which business strategies had to be adjusted to suit the circumstances. Speaking to MTV News today, CEO Preston said the extractive resources sector, particularly mining, is key to PNG's economic recovery after a COVID-19 disrupted 2020.
One of the largest food-producing companies in Papua New Guinea, Truecar Industries Limited, is the market leader in PNG's rice industry. Food supply was an enormous challenge in 2020, with the pandemic affecting businesses and livelihoods severely, with rippling effects still being experienced as the PNG economy recovers gradually.
But 2020 was full of surprises.
COVID started early last year and we were hoping it would be finished quickly. And as we sit here now in January 2021, we're contemplated and dealing with issues of second wave, third wave, mutant viruses, vaccinations becoming available around the world, but not in all countries. So there's still a great many uncertainties in the year of 2021. We're always positive thinkers at Truecar. That's what's made us one of the best and biggest companies in this country. So we're hopeful that the year of 2021 will be better than 2020.
CEO Preston says there is still uncertainty in the COVID-19 situation from a business perspective, as restrictions are still in place in key economies around the world because of further cases identified. Truecar Industries Limited had to change strategies to adjust to the circumstances, as a lot of events the company usually supports as part of its social obligation have been postponed or cancelled. However, CEO Preston is positive and confident that the situation will improve in the near future and that food companies like Truecar Industries will not be affected in order to continue to feed the population.
We took a conservative position and ordered a lot of rice and manufactured a lot of rice to make sure that our supply chain was full of product, so that if there was extra demand needed or created by people spending more time at home, we had plenty of product to meet that demand. And for all of last year, fortunately, we didn't have any low stock or out of stocks in the stores or around the country. So fortunately, we seem to have managed that well.
Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NASFund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina will buy $0.2775 US, $0.3552 Australian dollars, $0.2214 euro, and 28.15 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee and cocoa closed higher, and copper closed lower. Palm oil and copper closed lower, crude oil is trading lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 177.26 points lower. The ASX 200 is trading at 52.43 points lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 51.39 points lower. And Truecar Sports is next. Fidelis Sukina joins us at the Sports Desk.
Thank you, Helen. More updates on the SPPNG Hunters and Elevala Volleyball Association and sailing. Details after the break. Stay with us.
Truecar Sports.
Good night and welcome to Truecar Sports. Judah Rimbu has gone from Schoolboys Rugby League Digital Cup and now has earned a place in the 2021 SPPNG Hunter squad. The exciting young prospect progression to the Hunters serves as an example for young players around the country that persistence and dedication can pay off.
One of the 11 new faces in the SPPNG Hunter squad, promising youngster and last year's Rookie of the Year, Judah Rimbu has had a colourful career in rugby league so far. The 19-year-old, who hails from the Southern Highlands province, has come through the development ranks, starting at schoolboys level in 2012, moving on to the Under-16 Zone Championships, where Rimbu represented the Southern Zone, leading to his selection into the Junior Cumuls in 2016 and 2017. Rimbu shot into prominence after winning the 2019 NCD Governors Cup with Border Storm, receiving the Man of the Match award in the Grand Final, putting him on the radar for several Digital Cup teams. Rimbu eventually joined Hello Wigman, going on to win the 2020 Digital Cup Premiership with the side.
It wasn't a fluke
because I worked hard in the beginning and then somehow I made it. It's through hard work. It was, I was excited to get a rookie player. Yeah. Play diesel cup week in, week out, I stay consistent. Then I work hard to be part of the Hunters. And I thought I should make the final cut and just go up there and do a training and trial. But somehow I get a final cut and I'm so excited. It's my privilege to be part of the team. And it is through hard work and the sport.
Rimbu is keen to learn from senior players in the Hunter squad, with their advice greatly enhancing the youngsters' understanding and approach to the modern game.
I was with Edwin and Charlie Simon. With our skills, they learned me how to pass, how to attack the line, and defense drills. Stay with them, and then first week of the comp, stay with Ase and learn a lot how to kick, and then some more skills. Whatever role they put me, half specs, any I'm a utility player, so I can adjust. I can shoot the position, any position they allow me to play.
Huxley Lovai, Truecar Sports.
SPPNG Hunters coach Matthew Church says that Paul Aiton will fit in well with his ideals as assistant coach of the SPPNG Hunters. Aiton was appointed assistant coach of the Hunters out of 14 applicants to the position. Paul Aiton, former Papua New Guinea international, was announced last week as the new SPPNG Hunters assistant coach. Acting CEO of Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League, Stanley Hondina, said that there were also applications from Papua New Guinea-based local coaches, but there were several factors that were considered in Aiton's appointment, which also included a Level 2 National Rugby League NRL coaching certificate.
There are certain things that come into play, relocation, other exercises, so we've got to prepare a team to be better. So these considerations come into play when we do the selection and appointment. But there's a couple of Papua New Guinea coaches who've shown interest, and they'll be monitored and watched over. 12 applied, or 14. He made the top 3 because he met the requirements. We have processes and systems in place, and meeting the requirement of Level 2 coaching certificate is mandatory. When meeting those requirements are part of, on top of his playing experience, but he's met the requirements to make the cut and get the job.
Head coach of the SPPNG Hunters, Matthew Church, who was also part of the recruitment process, said aside from his wealth of playing experience in the NRL and the Super League, Church saw that Aiton had a good character and would cooperate well with him in his style of coaching. Church adding that some coaches that he had come across were not really open to suggestions from him as a head coach.
He will complement my coaching style really, really well. One of the key things in the appointment process was it was based on character as well, and what kind of person that person was coming to the team. They've got to be willing to learn. A number of coaches that I've come across in PNG, they're not so open to learning or being told how to do something. So, yeah, coaching at IC level is much an advance to what happens in PNG, in Digicel Cup and down. So, you need someone open to learning and growing and getting better and understanding. So, yeah, I think he brings a wealth of experience.
Church added that Aiton was willing to sacrifice his current status quo and aid in the development of rugby league in Papua New Guinea, something that shows that he has the heart to learn and also contribute his vast experience as a player to the current crop of hunters.
He's excited. He's had already offered his services to Chairman earlier in 2020 about coming back to PNG and helping the game. So when you've got someone of that nature who accepts the role, and he's currently working in a mining job, where he'd get paid a lot more money if he stayed in the mining job. So that's just I guess an indication of what kind of character Paul is and his commitment to fulfilling the role.
More sporting action after these messages. Stay with us.
Truecar Sports.
And welcome back to Truecar Sports. Elevala Volleyball Association from the outskirts of Port Moresby received 2 volleyball nets and 4 balls from the PNG Volleyball Federation over the weekend. In receiving the goods, President Ted Mayer was overwhelmed with PNG VF's support and said this is a booster for the youths and will assist in addressing alcohol and drug issues in the community. PNGVF President Edward Icey stated this presentation is in line with the Federation's goals to reaching 500,000 players by 2022. The President will also present a cup for the preseason finals. And that story wraps up Truecar Sports. Helen will be back with the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Bye for now.
Truecar Sports. Truecar Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Light rain, drizzles and possible thunder tonight, then cloudy morning in Port Moresby. Rain drizzles tonight, then a fine partly cloudy morning in Popondetta. In the Mamasa region, partly cloudy with rain drizzles in Lae and light showers and drizzles in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine tonight in Lorengau, Kavieng and Buka. And in the Highlands region, light rain drizzles tonight, then morning fog in Goroka, and rain showers tonight, then morning fog in Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the way it is this Monday, the 18th of January 2021. On behalf of the news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.